Kyotaro is a virgin and creepy emo boy who thinks he's Jeffrey Dahmer because he fantasizes that one day he can terminate everyone in his class, especially the most popular girl, but somehow he got raised up instead. Kyotaro is a massive loner and usually hangs out in the library, but on a particular day he witnesses how Anna swallows a rice ball like the starved goblin she is. Then she starts talking like a dying elephant, which genuinely shocks him. He can't believe his victim is a massive idiot because when he spies on her, she consumes a bag of chips enough to feed 4 people. He has no choice but to start reading his book to determine Anna's idiot power level, but he's immediately distracted when she starts doing their homework. After she finishes doodling, she realizes her problem. She didn't bring a box cutter. Luckily, Kyotaro is walking Ace Hardware as he instinctively pulls out one. However, Anna is such a dumb that he is forced to give it to her. When she thanks him for lending his cutter, he loses all of his edginess, and then she steals his box cutter and leaves the library. Before leaving, however, she gives him the bag of chips without the chips for him to hug it real tight. The next day, he enters the classroom and finds his cutter on his desk, thinking that Anna probably held it until she could return it. Later that day, one of the girls in Anna's group redid their homework because there's a turd stain on the poster and Kyotaro thinks she's trying to get rid of Anna because she's prettier than her. During the presentation, he notices that Anna looks lifeless and thinks she's having some hot girl problems. So when he and his group finishes their presentation, he cuts their presentation in half like a madman, so that no one will see that Anna is crying. That afternoon, Sho and the boys start talking about how Anna and the girls being so close together means they have plot in their minds, fantasizing about Anna's Mount Fuji all day long. This irks him, so he goes back to the library and sees that Anna's already there. Hara arrives a few seconds later and talks to Anna for a bit. Kenta also arrives to confess to Hara, but Anna is so dense she only realizes it when Kyotaro accidentally drops a book, causing everyone to be suspicious. Anna knows he's in there, so she signals him to start acting like a cat. But it's so bad at it that she goes behind the bookshelves to show him how it's done. On the way home, Kyotaro notices a magazine store and is about to buy one when Anna arrives all dressed up, so he hides as soon as he sees her. While observing her, he notices how weirdly she acts around people who are trying to buy a magazine and even tries to act like they're gonna ask for her signatures. But after receiving nothing, she leaves and Kyotaro buys a magazine for himself. When he arrives home, he immediately opens the magazine and finds Anna's feature page, realizing how completely different she is compared to the schoolgirl Anna everybody knows. But after realizing their difference, he throws the magazine away. He knows how vastly different he and Anna's worlds are, and he knows how much he has fallen ever since he failed the admission test he always wanted to pass, so there's no reason for him to care about people or Anna in particular. The next day, on the way to school, he sees Anna getting hit on by a popular guy, Nanjo. He overhears their conversation, and it seems like Nanjo is trying so hard to get his number. When he tries to stop Anna from leaving their conversation, Kyotaro uses his bike to interrupt them, sending it flying, shocking both of them. Chihiro, Anna's best friend, meets up with her and tells her what he did. And when Anna asks him why he sent his bike flying, he just tells them he hits the gas instead of the brakes. Kyotaro's psychopathic ruse manages to make her laugh, which in turn makes him blush. A couple of days after that incident, he returns to the library and once again, Anna is there, enjoying yet another snack. But there's a problem. She needs water to make that snack actually edible. So she runs off to fill that tiny plastic holder, but she's got a few loose screws, and it's already halfway empty when she arrives back at the library. Kyotaro realizes she's making a mess and starts cleaning the room himself. Anna sees him cleaning, but she's out of time, so she goes back to the faucet to get more water. Kyotaro knows how much of a moron she is, so he sprints to the economics room to help her out. But when he arrives to give her the cup, she's already mixing the snack, so he awkwardly drinks some water to save face. Once again, Anna gives him the leftovers for him to throw into the nearest garbage bin before leaving him. In the classroom, he starts plotting again on how to murder Anna, but he starts being delusional, thinking that she's actually caught up to his plans and is toying with him. But in reality, she's just hot because it's summer, and the boys behind him started doing some cultural podcast. Sho goes to the girl to creep them out, but Kyotaro shows him who's the real creep, stopping him from going after Anna. Later, he goes back to the library and once again, Anna is there eating a truckload of snacks. When she sees his fan, she asks if she can borrow it, and like the dog he is, Kyotaro gives it to her without a second thought. When she uses the fan, she notices how good it smells, but he argues that it is not. So she sniffs once more and just agrees with her because he's getting the good sweaty view. When Anna receives a call, she hides underneath the table and asks Kyotaro to sit on the chair. Chihiro arrives soon after looking for her, but he covers for Anna before offering Chihiro the snacks. But she declines and tells him about how Anna looks out for her because of her allergy to snacks. Apparently, Anna eats snacks in secret because she's trying to protect her, which is why they're best friends. When she starts showering her with praises, Anna appears out of the table and pops as if it wasn't very sus of her. After this, Kyotaro immediately goes to the toilet to unleash the raging monster behind his high school pants. A week later, the annual cultural festival has started and their class is doing a horror-themed exhibit. As usual, he is useless, but Anna goes up to him and asks him if he can help with their class poster, which he didn't even refuse. When he sits with Hara, his monkey brain neurons activate seeing Hara's double-barrel honkers, but Anna appears out of nowhere and scares the living crap out of him. But after they finish making the poster, Anna notices that someone has written her surname on the gravestones. Kyotaro thinks Hara has beef with Anna, but Sho grabs his shirt and starts threatening him, so he has no choice but to admit it was him. Fortunately, Hara arrives before he gets absolutely destroyed for no reason. Apparently, she was just writing common surnames and Yamada is one of them, so she tells everyone she'll erase them. Kyotaro helps and teaches her how to paint properly, and surprisingly, Anna goes up to him to apologize. But he literally has no clue why she's apologizing to him. He starts thinking of a reason for it when she suddenly appears once again and asks him to do her makeup. He's so flabbergasted that he only did one dip before dipping away from her. Later that day, he sees Anna's group getting dragged by Nanjo's group, so he follows them like the stalker he is. When he tries to tail them, he makes a shortcut to one room and Anna walks up to him and asks him about the other class's exhibit before dragging him. Inside, a large map of their old town is laid out cleanly on the floor. She then starts telling him about the snack shops in their town and asks for the house address, which is a couple of blocks away from her. When he pulls out his phone to take a picture of the map, Anna takes it away to take a selfie with him instead. The next day, he experiences a mild headache and has to stay in the school infirmary. There he notices Anna's shoes, and when the doctor's robe accidentally reveals the curtain between them, Anna is lying there, sleeping innocently. He stares intently, and Anna wakes up and realizes it's him. She tells him she's relieved to know she's not lying next to a Valorant player, causing Kyotaro's blood pressure to rise in his head down below. She asks what's wrong with him, and he tells him it's a headache, so she gives her a pill that will help him. But just when he's about to drink the pill, he realizes that she used the same cup he's about to use, which is pretty much an indirect kiss. So he stops doing that and proceeds to go back to his bed. But he realizes that Anna took his uniform instead of her own, so the school doctor tells him to bring it back to her later. He keeps telling himself he's been forced to do it, but he actually enjoys it, sniffing the uniform like the average vape addict. When he's about to return her uniform, she zooms past him, not even noticing it's her uniform he's holding. Sho starts doing his culture talk again and tries to guess if the girls are using their hands or using Woody to get off, so he tries to eavesdrop again. But Sho gives him a note and asks him to pass it to Anna. But instead of passing the note, he gives Anna the doodle he's been working on earlier this morning. Then Sho starts his usual podcast to know what positions the girls prefer. Curious about Anna's preference, he starts to watch the girls, but the girls catch what they're onto, so they stop. Later that day, he's still wondering what Anna's preferred workout position, and when she arrives, she immediately goes after his hand, thinking he stole one of her chips. That's when Kyotaro realizes that Anna likes it rough, taking control from the top. The next day, PE class starts, and while watching Kyotaro, Anna gets hit by a Kuroko pass straight to the nose. The PE teacher sends her to the infirmary, so Kyotaro follows her, sneaking beneath the bed and watching her cry because tomorrow is going to be a photo shoot. She can't help but apologize because she knows it's a big day, and she's making it hard for everyone. Hearing this, he also cries because he knows how much she's looking forward to it. When she gets a tissue, she accidentally drops an ID holder with his drawing in it. All the small memories of their interaction flash in his mind, and that's when he realizes he actually likes Anna. The next day, she shows up at school and apologizes to her friends for making them worried. Later that day, he sees Anna removing the note that Chihiro wrote and notices that she ran out of wet tissues, so he sets up all of his wet tissue supplies inside the library for her to use. But as usual, Anna just uses it to clean her hands of chip residues. But at the end of the day, she's back to her usual self and is now happier thanks to him. The next day, he agonizes about the meaning of liking someone, because he believes it's just something that drives people's lives to ruin. While eating lunch, he notices the girl who accidentally hit Anna with the ball yesterday. But all of that dissolves to nothing when he sees Anna eating another snack at the library. However, he can't keep still because what she's doing can be a real mess, real quick, so he awkwardly intervenes and suggests they take it to the next level. But Anna tells him to fetch it for her, and he didn't even hesitate as he immediately bolts out of the room. She then follows him and tells him it's a joke, suggesting they go together. Once inside, they start cooking like Walter and Jesse, with Anna taking his hand and dipping it into the pink Coke they just made. She then drinks the entire thing, but a teacher catches them in the act, startling her and causing her to choke. After that incident, Kyotaro notices Rin fidgeting around Anna, hoping to talk to her, but she fails at catching her alone and Anna runs off with Chihiro. Serena asks her if she apologizes to Anna yet, but the girl tells her she's changed because of Anna, which is a drama that Kyotaro doesn't want to be involved in. But when he stays in the library with Anna, he notices that Rin is also at the library, hoping to talk to her once more. Realizing that they need some time alone, Kyotaro decides to leave the library, but Anna stops him and asks him to face swap with her. But he declines and immediately heads for the door. Serena pulls him and tells him to be quiet, while she's observing whether Rin will apologize to Anna or not. Anna initiates the conversation and asks her if she wants to face swap with her, and Rin pretends she didn't notice the towering creature that Anna is. She apologizes for that insane Ignite pass, but Anna doesn't even know it was her, offering her candies to make up. With all things resolved, Kyotaro can't help but realize how people care so much about Anna, especially because she's a model and all. But when he stops at the convenience store, Anna immediately recognizes him and happily walks toward him, commenting on his brand new bike. She then asks him if he can give her a ride back home, which surprises him because he's not prepared for this victory royale so early in the game. Once Anna rides his bike, she asks him if he's in any club before telling him that she's going to quit the basketball club, especially after what happened. She thinks she'll just join his club, which makes his ears blush red and his heart rate shoots through the roof. For the first time, they're actually conversing, but he starts panicking when he realizes they're in front of the police station. He thinks the police will detain both of them for riding a single bicycle, and it will be a downward spiral to hell. But he snaps back to reality when Anna talks to him. Once they arrive at the station, she thanks him and gives him the same snack drink she's been sucking dry throughout the ride. Before leaving, Anna bids him goodbye and he responds with the classic German salute. A few days later, he and his sister, Kanna, visit McDonald's to eat. But this is really the worst time to be around family because he'd rather die than be seen with his sister. Anna arrives with her friends and his sister can't keep his mouth shut, teasing him about his height. So he leaves the table to order some food for himself and Anna follows him, interviewing him about his sister. She reveals that she's jealous of him because she's just an only child and having a sister would have been really fun. After taking a look at the menu, she says she wants an ice cream, but she forgets to bring her wallet. So Kyotaro ordered his food and her ice cream, but she didn't even take the ice cream. The next day, he accompanies her to the faculty office because she feels scared going alone. The teacher scolds her about bringing snacks, but Kyotaro channels his inner phoenix right and argues like Saul Goodman, stating that his client is just a moron and never admitted to anything she's accused of. And the teacher is proud of him for talking too much, because he's always been the silent type. On the way to the room, she thanks him and lets him choose a candy as a reward, before telling him that he can call her by her first name. The next day, their class is divided into groups because of their extracurricular activities. Kyotaro wants to visit morgues, crime scenes, and drug cartel dens, but the teacher tells them to group up, and because they're leaving in tomorrow. Anna's group lacks 2 people in their team, so she asks him to join their group, because they're going to split up. Kenta and the fat dude go for the other team, while he lies his way to get into Anna's group of massive idiots. She later goes up to him and tells him she knows he's lying because it's very obvious how smart he is. Later that day, Hora goes to the library to talk with Anna. As usual, Kotaro's behind the shelves again reading Goodnight Pun Pun. While the girls were talking, he overhears that Hora and Kenta are actually dating now, so Hara wants to know about Anna's love life. This interests Kyotaro, because she admits to Hara that she's single and not dating anyone. He's extremely relieved to know that he has no ops or 7 evil exes to fight. When she takes his selfie with Hara, she notices his presence.
Wait a minute! Who are you?
And confronts him. But Hara thinks it's alright that he knows because no one would actually believe him anyway.
Emotional damage!
The rain starts pouring after school, but Kyotaro comes prepared with a raincoat. But before he can leave, he sees Anna, who asks him to let her wear his raincoat. She tells him she's going to buy an umbrella and will give it back to him later. When she leaves, he checks her backpack because he realizes she might have forgotten her wallet and card. Unsurprisingly, she did. So he tries to catch up to her in the middle of the rain, telling her he tried to keep his bag dry, and Anna responds by keeping him dry. She then tells him to put it inside her, the wallet that she had forgotten to bring. When he sifts through stuff, he notices that she has an umbrella all along, but he awkwardly complies and starts unbuttoning the raincoat before giving her wallet back. Later, he opens up the umbrella, and it's actually not broken like she told him earlier. A few minutes later, Anna comes back with a new umbrella and some snacks, giving him an ice cream as a reward. That's when he realizes he really likes her, and she indirectly makes his heart race like Lightning McQueen. The next day, he and Anna's group visit Mappa HQ to strangle the CEO and free the animators. Sho tries to ask Anna about her manga preferences, but she just shuts him down. When they inevitably split up, one of the manga artists shows them a raw Baki still. Anna notices this enthusiasm popping out of him and asks him if he's going to take a look. When he tells her he will, she drags him and tells everyone to make room for the short king who loves Baki, which makes him spill his real personality. After their short tour, some guy enters the elevator, forcing everyone to stay really close, with Anna's Twin Peaks activating his Sharingan. So he closes his eyes and gains Emperor Heiki, heightening his senses and perception. After that elevator scene, he tells them he's going to the bathroom for a quick release. But it seems like no one heard him, so when he leaves the bathroom, there's no one there except for Anna. Apparently, Anna heard him, but she forgot to tell everyone and now they're rushing back to catch the train. But they're too late and now they'll have to wait an excruciatingly slow train that will come in 7 minutes. Seeing that everyone left them, Anna breaks down and apologizes to him for what happened, which is a good thing for Kyotaro. However, upon seeing her cry, he tries to calm her down by offering her Asian girl elixir, the milk tea, before telling her it's his fault that they're left behind. Anna thinks it's funny if he announces his bathroom break like that, but the train arrives and he tries to leave for another spot. She stops him, telling him that they'll be split up again if he does that. He tells him their group is so lucky to have fun without them, but he's happy he's with her. And unsurprisingly, Anna tells her the same thing, even mentioning how Hara and Kenta's relationship is pretty crazy because they're from the same class. But she thinks it's more fun to keep things a secret, implying theirs will be given enough time. After their tour, Kyotaro tells his family about what happened, and Kana mentions how he's already told them the same thing yesterday, mentioning how he might have been enjoying school a little more than he likes to admit. On way to school, he admits that he actually enjoys school, but he doesn't have any friends except for Anna. At the school gate, Anna stands like a school guard greeting her friends, waiting for someone. When he tries to enter the school, she stops and greets him, following him to the bike parking. Just like she promised yesterday, she lets him borrow 3 volumes of the romantic comedy manga she's been reading, before telling him she won't be around because of work. So also insists on him reading the story, even spoiling him about what happened. Later that day, she pops into the library to check him out, forcing him to read the manga she lent him. But he tries to fight back, which allows him to have a taste of heaven.
Yeah, boy.
Both of them apologize to each other, but Anna has to run back early. So before she leaves, he asks her if she's going to be at school tomorrow. Anna smiles and tells him she'll be there, no matter what. Later that night, he starts reading the manga and starts wondering how Anna reads it. A couple of snack bits fall on his hoodie, and he concludes that's how she does it. The next day, Sho notices how close he and Anna are, so he starts bugging him off, asking questions about when he became so close to her. Kyotaro thinks he's gonna beat him up, but Sho just wants to know whether she likes anyone or if she even has a boyfriend. Apparently, he's starting to like Anna because the post-nut clarity hits different now, and he can no longer think of her like that. He tells Kyotaro that if he really likes a girl, his no-nut November extends to forever. But hearing this makes Kyotaro think that whatever he's feeling for Anna isn't love, because he never gets off to her image or anything degenerate like that. Sho then starts describing what he likes about her, which irritates him even further. He thinks no one should do that to her, but when he goes back to his chair and notices Anna's curves, Sho winks at him, telling him, "I told you so." When he goes back to the library, he sees a worried Anna looking at the sign, telling them not to eat anything inside. So Anna starts wondering why the school would bother putting a sign like this if it's obvious they shouldn't be eating there in the first place. The joke goes over his head, but the fact still remains that someone probably knows she's doing a mukbang every single day. So there's a snitch on the loose, and she wants to find out who ratted her out. But when they arrive at the faculty room, the library teacher tells them that she found a candy wrapper lying around, so they have to put a sign to prevent people from doing the same. So Kyotaro starts wondering whether it's going to be their last time together at the library, especially because of the sign. But Anna shatters his delusion with a box of chocolates, telling him that she's done worse, and not even a sign can stop the snacking menace that she is. But the library teacher appears, almost catching her in the act, so he grabs her hand to hide the chocolate she's about to eat, which the teacher finds too cute, so she hurriedly leaves. He then apologizes to her for crushing her chocolates, and Anna tells her to go away for a bit, so he leaves. The next day, when he returns to the library, he sees her reading something, but some things don't ever change for her. During the weekend, he looks up her name and finds out that aside from her modeling career, she's also a primetime show actress. But when he tries to watch her show, it's already over. The next day, their PE classes start, and it's a marathon run. Just like Hara, this isn't his favorite sport, but Anna quickly catches up to him, so he starts running like crazy. But her legs are longer than the entire track, so she quickly catches up to him, dragging him. But he tells her to leave him alone because people will be glazing all over them. As he tries to run further away from her, Anna removes her PE uniform and unleashes the oldest trick in the book twice.
Oh my God! Wow!
When the exercise is over, Anna holds out her hand, asking him to pull her up before joining Hara, leaving Kyotaro flabbergasted by their interaction. After this, he starts going to Reddit, but he knows that people there haven't actually encountered women in real life. He soon realizes that he accidentally swapped uniforms with Anna. Coincidentally, the girls are talking about swapping uniforms with their boyfriends, which is bad. Because if they find out that she swapped out clothes with him, she'll be ostracized by society. So the entire time, he didn't wear their uniform to avoid suspicion. But when the teacher calls Sho to answer the board, he knows that he's the last guy he wants to notice that Anna is wearing his uniform. So he volunteers to answer the math question, which he spectacularly fails to answer, because he's so engrossed with keeping everyone's eye off of Anna. After their lunch, Anna asks him to go with her to the infirmary, where she finally returns his uniform. She sniffs it one last time before giving it back. She then drags him to the height measuring scale, giving him the best view most of you could ever dream of, which causes him to melt. She then asks him to measure her next, which reveals that she's almost 7 feet tall. The next day, everybody's going nuts because they've just heard the news about Anna's casting for an upcoming movie. Even her friends are going crazy because the lead actors in the film are quite popular, but he's the only one who seems to notice how excited Anna is from the way she looks. Then the teacher arrives to tell them the good news. It's seating arrangement time. Once he's done picking his chair, he starts praying to every gacha gods to bring him the SSR card of being seated next to Anna. Unfortunately, his prayers were answered by throwing the pervert in front of him. Thankfully, it's not a monkey's paw bargain because Hara's next to him. But there's still a problem. Because Anna's built like LeBron James, she's blocking everyone's view. But she occasionally smiles back at Kyotaro whenever she catches him looking at her. Sho pretends he forgot his book so she can share it with Anna. But he foils his plan because he's trying to steal his game. But still, he can't see the board and accidentally leans on Hara's shoulders. Fortunately, Hara is so kind, she offers to let him copy her notes. Anna sees this and gets mad at him, telling him that it's fine when he's literally doing what Sho was doing earlier. After the class, she's still mad as hell and tells him he must be happy sitting next to Hara. But he explains that during the entire class, he's not seeing anything except for her because she's blocking the view. Once again, his accidental riz gets through her, causing her to do a 180. Later in the library, she apologizes to him, but he tells him not to worry too much about him, especially since she's got something more important to worry about, like her movie role. Anna enthusiastically asks him if he likes films and reveals that she's going to play a character, and she starts practicing her line to him. But some people are looking at them weirdly, so he asks her to practice in a more private room. So Anna brings him somewhere too close for comfort. He learns from her that the movie's going to be released in 2 years' time, which is after their graduation. So she asks him if he's going to see it, and he tells her he will, which gives her motivation to practice her acting skills. That night, Kyotaro watches Anna's show and realizes that she doesn't even have a line or anything particularly interesting, as she's cut out for most scenes. He thinks she's upset that she didn't get to say anything, but the next day, she's just yapping endlessly about her appearance in the show. After their exam period, Kyotaro tutors Chihiro a bit, but Anna gets jealous that he's helping her friend out. With the PT and meetings coming up, Chihiro warns Anna to study hard and asks for Kyotaro's help because he's so good at teaching people. But she also warns him about Anna, because she knows her best friend can be a real ditz all the time. Kyotaro tries to hide his laughs, but Chihiro notices it and starts asking the real questions, like how he talks normally. But he explains he's just being polite, and he often let his guard down sometimes. Later that day, their parents start coming, and he sees that his mom is literally next to the Yamadas, with Anna's NUF mom next to her. Unfortunately, she's also very strict and comments on Anna's every move. Even his own mom straightens up. After some time, his mom talks to Anna, who really looks like she wants to talk to her. She mentions how she heard so much from him about school, and it seems like he's having a lot of fun, which genuinely makes Anna happy. She admits that she talks to her son quite a lot, and even stutters when talking about their interaction. After the meeting, his mom tells him it's a genuine accomplishment, that he's actively participating in class, and even tells him about her interaction with one of his classmates. When his mom asks for her name, he tells her it's Yamada, startling her, who is following them behind. The next day, she compliments his mom for being kind and adorable, telling him that she even gave her a treat. She then leans closer and asks him what he calls his mother. But things are a little too close for him, so he asks her if she's not going to do her homework. Anna pulls out her notes and asks him if he can teach her, just like what he did for Chihiro. He agrees, but the library teacher comes out again, and he worries they'll get caught with the candy wrapper. So he whispers to her ear, asking her to hide the candy. But he's too close to her, and she falls out of balance. The next day, heavy rain starts pouring, and Kyotaro has no choice but to bike in the rain, because he forgot his raincoat. On the way home, he passes by Anna, who recognizes him. He immediately flips the direction and tells her he has forgotten his raincoat. So Anna uses the plastic bag to protect his head from the rain, but it's no use. So she sits on the back of the bike and offers to use her umbrella to protect both of them from the rain. However, it's too dangerous for them since everything is wet and slippery, so he bikes home. But he realizes that Anna had forgotten the plastic bag's contents in his bike. So he rides toward the station to give her his stuff back before going back home. While browsing her Instagram, however, he suddenly falls asleep and starts fever dreaming. When he wakes up, he realizes he has a fever and has to skip school for the time being. So spends his time alone in their house while watching TV, but someone rings the doorbell and it's Anna, wearing a worried look on her face. So he immediately rushes out of the house and catches up to her. She gives him their school lunch and apologizes for causing him to get sick. She leaves after giving him his food, but he invites her over to have some tea first. He becomes self-conscious, especially since Anna is inside their home, so he tells her he'll have to change his clothes first, leaving the stove on while boiling the water. But when he's about to change his clothes, he suddenly collapses to the ground, and Anna starts to get worried when he forgets the boiling water. So she goes upstairs and finds that he's unconscious and feverish. She tries to help him out by pulling into his bed, even dressing him up so he does not catch a cold. But Kyotaro's already delirious and suddenly falls asleep on the softest calcium cannons known to man. After a few hours, he wakes up and the first thing he sees is his sister, who gives him a note that Anna left a few hours ago. The next day, his mom tells him she saw Anna last night and noticed that she had a very worried look on her. Apparently, she was asking about his condition and was glad to hear that he'll be back to school soon. But she notes that she's sort of a retired and total klutz at that. After his breakfast, he goes back to school and surprise, it's Anna, who's greeting him first thing in the morning. Turns out, she also catches a cold and her voice sounds like a raspy cougar hunting for teenagers. He tells her that everything was sort of a dream yesterday, but when she's about to ask him what kind of dream, the midget appears, interrupting their talk. Later that day, Anna asks him if he uses line, and he tells her he does, but only a bit because he's different. So she shows him the different stickers in line and tells him she can send one of them to him. But he declines, so she tells him about how their class doesn't have a group while the other has one. However, he's not picking up what she's trying to tell him, so she just smashes her head against the table because Kyotaro's incredibly dense. A couple of days before Christmas, Mocha starts saying that she needs a boyfriend before Christmas and she can't have one if she doesn't get everyone's numbers. Anna tells her it's a good idea and immediately goes for Kyotaro's number. But Mocha overtakes her because she's too slow and manages to get his number in one go. She even recognizes his profile pic. Who is that same woman no one even remembers? With Mocha's taking the lead, Anna backs off and gives him the should be at incident Yuji stare. Mocha tells her she should instead get someone else's number, like Ishinmuro, who is their class's ace and one of the smartest fellas. Anna tells her that he and Ishinmuro live in the same apartment building, telling them that they're close and their parents are friends, all to spite Kyotaro. And so his delusional thoughts think they're doing something he's not aware of. Mocha pushes Anna to ask for Ishinmuro's line ID, so when Anna asks Ishinmuro, he realizes that she was asking him about his number earlier, and he didn't realize it sooner. So he stands up, interrupting them and stopping Anna from getting that guy's number. But now he has solid ground that Anna was indeed asking for his number, so he tells himself that he's definitely going to get her number soon. Later that night, while reading the manga Anna lent him, notices the main characters of the series perfectly describe him. But his remaining brain cells are struggling to realize that, thinking that guys like him don't exist in real life. But when he analyzes the manga, he realizes their interaction together with Anna now makes sense. The next day, he sees the same guy hitting on Anna again, this time bringing in a backup girl with him. Chihiro catches up to his ulterior motives, but when he invites her over, all the logic and goes out of the window. Anna knows what that jock is up to, so she tells Chihiro she's not going to come with her. Everyone knows what that guy is up to, except Chihiro. So when Anna tries to tell her the reason, she thinks she's bad-mouthing Nanjo, and it's unlike Anna to act like this. When Kyotaro goes to the library, he sees Anna crying, who then cheers up upon seeing him. She then asks him if he plays video games, but he remembers all the cringe stuff he's been saying like he's an elite gamer. Anna tells him that her father is a gamer and they have all kinds of gaming consoles, but some girls interrupt their talk, trying to snuff out the truth about her relationship. But Anna keeps denying it, telling them that she doesn't have a boyfriend, and even asks for Kyotaro's opinion because he knows the truth about her. When the girl realizes they're overstepping, they leave the room, and he tells her that she shouldn't hang around him when there are people around. But Nanjo appears once again to disrupt things, so Anna stares at Kyotaro intently, making sure that the guy knows she's already taken. But when the guy leaves, she immediately apologizes to him for what she did. While walking, he overhears Moko reprimanding Chihiro about the Nanjo guy and telling her that he's clearly using her to lure Anna. So later that night, he thinks that Anna might be using him the same way the creepy dude is using Chihiro. All the genuine interactions he had with her in the past might all be just part of her plans to manipulate him. So the next day, he stops treating Anna the way he used to and starts avoiding her for a couple of days. After school, he immediately leaves the classroom, but she follows him, stopping him in his tracks. She confronts him and asks him if he's mad at her or anything, but the edgelord Kyotaro tells her he needs to go. So Anna starts crying her heart out, apologizing for whatever she did to him. But when he turns around, he realizes that Anna is more genuine than any fake Jordans can be. She's always been a kind and uplifting person, and she'll never do him dirty like that unless he likes it. He's just looking for a reason to hate her, which was his problem in the past. So he tells Anna he's not really mad at her, he's just a busy person. Hearing this, she holds him tightly but quickly apologizes for hugging him, knowing that he doesn't want people to get too close to him. But he tells her he never said anything crazy like that.
Yeah, boy.
After making up, they both go home together, and she asks him if he's doing anything during the Christmas break. So he tells her they'll be going back to their home province to visit their relatives. He also gives her manga back after finishing all of it in one go, so she interviews him about the plot. Turns out they like the same thing, so she promises that she'll bring back the next volume. But the next day, she forgets to bring them, so she tells him she'll give the rest of the manga before Christmas, insisting that he should definitely read it because it's peak. Before the day ends, she asks for his line ID, finally getting his contact for tomorrow's date. The next day, Kyotaro dresses up with his stalker drip, arriving too early at their meeting point. He thinks he's too early, but he realizes he's not because his dress-up darling is waiting for him. When he approaches, he makes sure he circles around her so she can recognize him without talking to her. His unspoken riz activates perfectly and Anna recognizes him. Turns out she's also early because she's trying to make sure she's at the right place, which is a lie. After meeting up with her, he asks for the manga, but Anna drags him to a restaurant she wants to check out. Looking at Anna, he realizes how well-dressed she is compared to him, who looks like he's about to stab some Bikomeshi idol. So he takes off the mask and now he looks like someone stole his switch. Anna asks him to hold the bag before bumping into him like an average American footballer. Once inside the cafe, Kotaro's having a problem because everything is so damn expensive. The only thing he orders is $1 coffee, while Anna orders the most expensive meal they offer. After getting their orders, the two start talking, but Kotaro goes overboard when explaining why he owns so many black attires. So he backpedals a bit because since their date started, he's pretty much taking negative social credits, and now he regrets coming to meet Anna. She then gives him her phone so he can take photos of her. When he asks if it's for Instagram, she simply tells him she's going to send it to him. But when he gets so absorbed by her beauty, Anna takes the lead and tells him the real thing is in front of him. Later, they go shopping, and she makes him choose which outfit is better. After taking his pick, he starts imagining what she's packing underneath those clothes. But the no-nut clarity hits, so he tries to leave the store. However, he sees his sister with her friends, telling Anna to shut up because he might get seen. So she asks him if she can say hi to her, but he tells her she can do that in due time. When she sees Kana coming over, she drags him inside the dressing booth and asks him to promise that she'll let her meet his sister. After some rom-com shenanigans, they leave the place and start walking around the streets of Shibuya. Couples are everywhere he looks, which makes him anxious because it's starting to look like they're a real couple as well. But Anna apologizes to him for dragging him to all the places she wants to visit, worrying that it might have bothered him. Seeing this, he opens up to her and tells her that she's not usually the type of person who goes out a lot. More often than not, so what they did together today made him really happy, and he thoroughly enjoyed it. Anna understands what he means, so she gives him a muffler as a present. When they arrive at the town center, they find a really beautiful Christmas lights decoration, marking the good ending of their memorable date. When they arrive at the train station, the pouring passengers almost separate them. But Anna grabs his hand and holds it all the way to their station. But it doesn't end there. As they walk in the moonlit streets of their town, the two hold hands as if they're the only people in the world, slowly taking their time on the way to their home. When they arrive at their split, he greets her with a Happy New Year, but she stops him because there are still a couple of days before the new year and she doesn't want it to end just yet. The next day, they travel back to Akita to visit their grandparents. They usually do this yearly, but this time, he's going to be sleeping next to his sister. Which is a bad thing because he's trying to bag this 10 out of 10 girl, and there's no way he's going to let his sister ruin his chance. He then remembers his promise to her that he'll take pics, so he starts doing some photography. But the lighting is terrible, so he goes outside to actually feel the environment and get some decent pictures. While looking for a good angle, however, he accidentally steps over the edge of a low cliff and falls unconscious. A few hours later, Kana finds him and asks if he can walk. But the thing is, his arm is fractured, so they visit a hospital to get him checked. On the way home, his mom expresses how happy she is, especially since this is the first time he's broken his arm, which means he's actually participating in society again. Later that night, he sends a selfie to Anna with his fractured arm, which causes her to call out of concern. After seeing his sister is asleep, he answers the call, and he sees Anna dressed up like a Twitch streamer. She asks him if he's alright, but he just downplays it, telling her it's just a minor fall. Then she realizes she's wearing something too revealing, causing her to panic a bit. But he tells her he'll be going back to Tokyo tomorrow, since they can't really stay that long after that accident. However, his worst nightmare comes to life when he notices his sister watching their chat. Kana tells him she's cute, she thinks it's Kaide, but he tries to avoid the question because he thinks she might start asking the annoying questions. Surprisingly, Kana didn't do that, and she went back to sleep after that. Then, after some time, Anna calls him again and asks him to have a drink with her while looking at the moon. The next day, he picks up a souvenir for Anna and goes back to Tokyo with his family. On the way home, Kana asks him about Anna and is surprised when she learns that it's the same Anna who left a note in their house, teasing his brother that he might have a chance with her. When they arrive, he quickly leaves the house to give back the books to Anna and give her the souvenir he bought. On the way to their meeting place, he meets Anna and his dog, Wantaro, who looks exactly like the dog keychain he bought. When they arrive at the park, Anna plays with Wantaro, while he sits on the bench, trying to find the right time to give his gift. Soon after, she goes up to him and asks him to give Wantaro a couple of commands. But the dog isn't doing anything, so Anna imitates what he would have done, taking his hand with her slickest move. He then tells her about the muffler and that he's returning it, but Anna says she wants him to keep it. So he finally gives the dog keychain he's been itching to give to her the whole time. Happy Anna noises burst out of her, which tells how grateful she is for his gift. On the way home, she asks him if he wants to meet up with her on New Year's as she's going to pray at the temple. After confirming that he will show up, Anna bids him goodbye. A couple of days later, he goes to the convenience store to buy something. But that same prick Nanjo corners him and drags him to the restaurant with him. He's still bugging him about Anna, asking him what she's up to. He denies having Anna's line number, but he gets caught lacking when her name pops up on his phone. Nanjo tells the other girl to fetch him some sandwich and Muka leaves them so they can have a boys' talk. Once they leave, he tells Kyotaro he won't tell anyone he got Anna's number from him. But he has had enough of this fraud and outright tells him to piss off. Muka arrives later and asks him to walk her home. On the way to her apartment, she tells him to stand proud because he's strong enough to tell that guy to get off their backs. He also admits to her that he did that because he likes Anna, and he's not going to deal with no-ops. The next day, Kyotaro and his family visits the temple together. In 30 minutes, he'll be meeting with Anna, so he plans to make an excuse for it. But his mother recognizes her from a distance and tells both him and Kana that Anna is waiting for someone. Kana asks him if she has a boyfriend because how she looks right now is basically how someone in a relationship will do. She insists that he should go and say hi to her, but he keeps declining, which causes enough commotion for Anna to notice. She walks up to them and greets the family with a Happy New Year, before following them closely, with Kana acting weird around her. When they arrive at the temple, both he and Anna start to pray. But his arm is broken, so Kyotaro pulls in a tiro and prays with one hand. However, Anna tells him that's not he should pray, slithering all over him and sharing in his prayer. After that, she leaves them to look around while Kana congratulates him for pulling the baddest girl in their school by being weird. She then drags him to go back and meet Anna again, to make a second first impression. When they catch up to her, she invites her over to their house, which she quickly accepts. Inside their house, Kana keeps teasing him, but he realizes that Anna is wearing the same dog keychain he bought for her, which is supposed to be a pair with his sister's keychain. So he immediately grabs Anna's waist to hide the dog, so Kana grabs him and asks him if they're already that close. But he keeps denying it, so she brings their yearbook photos, showing Anna what they looked like years ago. Anna's face lights up seeing Kyotaro's bad boy emo look back in 5th grade, sifting through the pages like an excited parent. Kana even shows his photos from middle school and junior high. But when she asks about his summer camp photos, the conversation goes silent. Kana then dips on both of them, wingmaning Kyotaro so he can shoot his shot now that they're alone. Before she leaves, Kana expresses her gratitude towards Anna, especially for being friends with her brother. In response, Anna asks her if she can be her older sister, which Kana immediately agrees with. After their talk, Anna follows him to his room and tells him she's seen all of his photos because both he and Chihiro went to the same school before. One of the photos piques her curiosity, so he asks him if he's still close with these two friends of his. He reveals they're both his friends with whom he went to cram school together. But he didn't pass the school he always wanted to study at, and it genuinely depressed him. It's the reason why he's so antisocial and develops a mild form of psychopathic tendencies. He uses it as a defense mechanism to stay away from people. So, Anna tries to cheer him up, but she immediately notices the magazine she's in. However, Kyotaro tries to grab it before she does, causing them to be in this position. For a few seconds, their heartbeat beats like timpani drums. But Anna apologizes for looking at all his stuff. Before leaving, however, she takes some blackmail material from his yearbook, promising him that she'll soon show him her yearbook photos as well, which is basically an invitation for him to come over. The next day, the MC from the manga he's reading tells him to stop being a chicken and confess to Anna already. Once he arrives at school, Anna jump scares him before following him around, asking him to wear the dog keychain he bought, so they're a matching couple. Behind the school building, Anna ties the keychain in his neck button. And at this moment, after everything that happened, Kyotaro finally has the courage to tell her how he truly feels. He tells her how badly he doesn't want to go to school, avoiding all forms of social interactions. But now, after meeting her, he feels like he can truly enjoy school. Every happy memory he's made with her for the past couple of months changed him for the better, all because of her. But Anna tells him he's chosen to be better, so he should only thank himself for doing so. With this final act, Kyotaro finally leaves the mask behind and embraces the dangers in his heart, which is falling in love with the 6-feet-tall goddess that all of you lonely virgins will never pull in your lifetime. Like and subscribe so you too pull the hottest chick in your block. That is if you're still in high school, because if not, then you might as well watch the next video.